In this lesson, we'll begin to build the chairs to go around the fireplace. Alright, so to build these chairs, I'm going to start with just a spline. So we'll go to Create, and let's create a shape, spline, and let's create a circle. Let's go ahead and drag this out into the top view, and I'm just dragging it out into kind of an empty area outside of the room. And you can see it here in our left-hand view as well, and also in the perspective. Now I want to actually edit this, so I'm going to right-click and say Convert to Editable Spline. Open that up, and we'll select the segment sub-objects, and then select basically half of this circle, and delete that. Now we're going to go to Vertex, and we want to extend these, so I'm going to go ahead and insert some points. So under Vertex, under Geometry Rollout, we'll go ahead and insert, and I'll just click on here and drag a line out, maybe about right there. I'll do the same thing over here, and I'm just right-clicking to end that process. Okay, now we can select these segments, turn off Insert first, select those segments and divide those up by going down to Divide. Let's go ahead and add 3, divide that. Let's go ahead and select these segments, dial that down to 2 and divide. And now we can select the vertices. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to actually move this up first. So let's go ahead and raise up this whole spline, and let's rotate it very slightly. And now we can select those vertices. Let's select the ones just on the end and move those down almost to the floor. Okay, and now what we want to do is create kind of the side view of the chair. And notice that these points, if we right click on these are Bezier corners. I'm going to go ahead and convert these to smooth points. It gives me a little bit less to worry about here. And go ahead and pull these down, and I just want to create kind of a nice smooth shape coming down to these legs here. Okay, I can convert those as well. And so we just want to move these and get whatever shape you want. If you want to have kind of a harder shape coming in here, feel free to do that. You can kind of move these back in a little bit. Okay, so we're just looking at something similar to that. Again, doesn't have to match it perfectly, but you can see what that shape looks like here. Now I do want to make this a bit taller, so I'm going to go ahead and select some of these points and actually move those up a bit. Okay. And just move those around until we get kind of what the look that we're going for. Okay, now we need to actually add geometry. So again, there are many different ways we can do this. Let's actually use another spline as kind of a shape for this. So go ahead and go to Create, Splines, and let's just create a rectangle over here to the side. Alright, so with this rectangle, we can use this as a loft. So we'll go ahead and select the spline, go back to Create, and this time we'll create Geometry, Compound Objects, and create a loft. Okay, we'll say Get Shape, and we'll get the little rectangle. And there you can see that we have now geometry that's been added to this spline. Okay, so we can change the parameters of the rectangle. So if we go ahead and select the rectangle itself, go to Modify, we can change a lot of these different parameters here. So we can change the width and the length until we maybe get something that is kind of like that. Okay, we can also select this loft, and under the skin parameters you can change the steps for the shape, so you can see how that adds more geometry there. You can also change the steps along the path. Okay, so you can see how that affects things. I'm going to go ahead and leave the path steps at 1 and the shape steps at 2. Alright, so once you've got this geometry sort of the way that you want it to look, we can now convert this to a state where we can start editing some of these polys. We need to add some feet down here. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and just right click, convert this to an editable poly. Alright, and now we can select these polygons right down here, the ones on the bottom, and I'm just going to create an area for these feet to come out. So I'll just do an inset, and keeping in mind that I'm going to smooth this, I'm going to create an initial inset that's very close to the edge. I'll go ahead and apply that and create one for the actual shape of the feet. Alright, and let's go ahead and do another one that's very small. Okay, and we'll say OK to that. Now let's go ahead and extrude that in. So extrude that up there, go ahead and apply, do another extrude, apply, and now let's extrude this out. Okay, and this will be kind of our feet here. And then one more extrude. It's a very small amount, followed by an inset at a very small amount. Okay. So let's say that we want to make these, maybe we don't want these so rectangular, maybe we want them to be a little bit more square. Let's grow our selection by all the way up till right about there. And now let's go ahead and turn on local. And let's go ahead and scale these out just a little bit. All right, until we get something like that. Let's go ahead now, shrink our selection back in. And now we can detach those by going down to Edit Geometry, Detach. Let's go ahead and detach those. And now we've got those feet. And if you want to finish that off, you can draw that geometry across there. If you want to complete that, you'd simply go to, if we go down to polygons, and we'll go to Edit Polygons. I think if we go to the top, actually top level, we can use it under Edit Geometry. Actually, is where it is. Cut. And so here we can just click on these points and complete these across. So you don't actually have to be in polygon mode there. Go ahead and complete those. Okay. And that'll, if you wanted to, you could leave it all though. You could leave it if you wanted to. But there we have our feet that we're able to use now. Okay, so now that we've got the kind of the main shape of the back and the sides and also the feet, let's go ahead and in the next lesson add the seat here, and then we'll look at how we can add some smoothness and some irregularity and so forth to this guy. So we'll go ahead and keep going on the chair in the next lesson.